A few days ago, we were informed by Rhys Hoskins that the Blue Jays might only add one more bat. And looking at the lineup, there's only one spot that needs to be acknowledged, and that's the DH position. With a few left on the market and one most likely going to the Jays, I want to go over what each one brings to the club in preparation of their signing. First up is JD Martinez. JD is no stranger to the American League East, winning the World Series with Boston in 2018, and excluding the shortened 2020 season, he was one of the most feared bats in the game with 13.7 WAR during these 5 years. In 2023, he signed with the LA Dodgers, and while he was sidelined with a back and groin problem costing him 32 days of action, he still managed to feature in 113 games, slugging 33 home runs, 103 RBIs, and an 893 OPS. All of which would have led the Jays by a pretty considerable amount. JD will most likely presume a one-year deal worth $12 to $15 million and could provide a significant offensive boost if he stays healthy and of course if Father Time doesn't come looking for him. Next up is Joc Pederson. Over the past 4 seasons spread across 4 teams, Joc has had an okay slash line, but other than that, he hasn't been too productive, posting just 1.6 WAR over his last 1,477 plate appearances, which to me isn't too appealing. But I understand why Ross is interested in him, and that is because he's a lefty bat, something the Jays do not have, meaning he's the last chance the team has to acquire a front half of the lineup lefty, or else the club will be extremely righty dominant like in years past. Joc will most likely command a 2-year deal with $10 to $15 million annually, which to me is a pretty hefty price tag for a guy who legitimately could post less than 1 WAR. Moving on, Rhys Hoskins is another option. In 2023, he missed the whole season due to an ACL surgery, but in the 6 years before that, he was a serviceable first baseman, consistently hitting around 30 homers and an OPS in the mid-800s. He is also the youngest out of the 5 the Jays are interested in, entering just his age 30 season. But coming off an ACL, it will be tricky to understand what type of player he will be. For instance, we saw Ronald Acuna Jr. tear his ACL during his great 2021 campaign, and when he came back for the 2022 season, he wasn't his typical self. Then last season, he was back to normal. That could very well be the similar path to Hoskins, meaning next season it could be a down year for his standards. Hoskins will most likely get a 1-year deal around the $15 million mark, but don't be surprised if there's a player option attached for a 2nd year. Now onto the penultimate player, Jorge Soler. To me, he was my ideal DH target on day 1 for a couple reasons, but the main one being his ability to play in the outfield. With this addition, we could take one of our batters that lacks against left-handed pitching and slot him into one of the corner spots, opening up the DH position for another right-handed batter. But now with Isaiah Kiner for left signing, it's a lot less likely that we would sign Soler because we don't have the need for him to be our 4th outfielder anymore. But regardless, if the Jays do sign him, then he could cost a pretty penny. MLB trade rumors have him at 3 years $45 million, but it seems like his market has materialized well for him and could end up signing with a 4th year in the deal for a little more money. And finally, Justin Turner. JT is the man that never quits. I mean, at 38 years old to produce a season like he did is pretty remarkable. Not to mention he made 46 starts between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd base. But moving forward, it's hard to see him continuing to play in the field as much he did, and as always, Father Time is a killer in baseball. You don't know exactly when a player will eventually fall off, but you can anticipate it, and at 39 years old, that could very well be next season. Which ties me into my overall thoughts about what the Blue Jays have elected to do here, because banking on internal options along with signing defense-first players in a year in which the offense never once looked like the juggernaut we saw in years past is a big gamble. Not to mention adding an older designated hitter on a 1 or 2 year deal is also a gamble. And with every single team in the AL East getting better, except the Rays, although they'll still find a way to succeed, then the Jays could be in store for a tough season as they try to win their first playoff game in going on the 6th and penultimate season of the duo that was supposed to bring a World Series title north of the border for the first time in over 3 decades. That wraps it up for this video. If you enjoyed, then make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest regarding the Jays, and if you'd like, check out my new channel regarding anything in MLB, with my latest video being about the season Miguel Cabrera accomplished something no one had done since 1967. It's a great one, and I'm sure you'd like it too. Alright, thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next one.